Hi and welcome, I'm Melanie. So this video today has been inspired partly from my coaching, but also from messages and comments that I've had on the different ways you can be chasing your divine masculine, focusing on the obsessive thinking. Also, I want to give a broad overview of the connection with your divine masculine and the journey, as I know some of you are fairly new to all of this and so not aware of the different ways you can be chasing and confused about some aspects of the connection and journey. And so would like to have some light shed on what is going on, because when you are in that chasing energy, you will also be in a lot of emotional pain. It will be hard to focus on anything but your divine masculine. And so there will be a lot of confusion. And so for the purposes of those of you who are new, or those of you who may have gaps in your understanding of the different ways you can be chasing and maybe the overall connection and journey, I have come on today to give you some insight on all of that and explain why it's important not to chase your divine masculine. So you will hear the labels runner and chaser and running and chasing a lot on this journey, especially when you are looking for answers and trying to make sense of what is going on and how the divine feminine is the chaser and will chase after their divine masculine. But what are the ways in which you can be chasing your divine masculine? Because if you are on this journey, it's important to know for you to be able to break the cycle of chasing and move forward. Because as much as this can feel like it's a romance that is developing between you and this other person, this is not a romantic relationship that you are experiencing. And so you can't treat it as such, because the normal rules don't apply. Because what you have with this other person is a connection. And that is because you share a soul. You share the exact same soul frequency. You are one soul. Your soul decided before incarnating to go into two separate bodies, with one embodying the essence or energy of the divine masculine and one embodying the divine feminine essence or energy. So each representing one of the two polarities of the one soul. Now, because you are one soul and share the same soul frequency, you share an energetic system and so are connected energetically. So you could imagine it like an invisible cord that connects you both. And during the bubble love stage, at some point, your soul will recognize itself in the other body and you will have a heart activation. This is when the energy becomes too intense and unstable, and what causes separation and the divine masculine to run. Everything would have been amazing and going brilliantly, and then they will start blocking you and ghosting you. Something will happen and you may not even be sure what, but you will be left feeling confused and hurt and feeling abandoned, angry, betrayed, and panicked that you will never hear from them again. As the divine feminine, you will experience soul shock and may also at this time go into dark night of the soul. Now, because you are one soul and being the divine feminine, you will feel such a strong need to chase your divine masculine, because at a soul level, you have recognized yourself in this other body. And on a physical level, you have found someone who you have connected with on the deepest level. And a core wound of the divine feminine can be abandonment. And so when your divine masculine runs and leaves, being the divine feminine, you will be thrown into despair, because it will trigger those abandonment issues. And also because you will have a deep inner knowing that this other person is everything that you've always longed for. So you will naturally want to hold on to what you have found. Your ego will be loud, causing you to feel all those fear-based emotions in lack and the victim, betrayed, believing you are not good enough. But here's the thing. On an energetic level, Because you and your divine masculine are connected energetically, your divine masculine feels this intense energy pushing out to them. And this can feel quite uncomfortable for them because the divine masculine can quite often have avoidant attachment issues. They can avoid emotional closeness and intimacy, which leads them not being able to properly form or maintain any deep emotional relationships or connections. They can find it hard to trust and can come across strongly independent and self-reliant and sufficient, and they ultimately crave their freedom. And what they feel in a physical sense by what they are feeling for their divine feminine, and the action and words from the divine feminine expressing how they feel, along with the energetic feelings they are getting from the divine feminine, it just becomes all too much and overwhelming for the divine masculine. The intensity of the connection and the intense energy that they can feel from the divine feminine can trigger those fear-based emotions within them. So they will not be able to handle the intensity of the connection at an energetic or physical level, or the push of your energy, and this causes them to run. Think of it like magnets. When facing a certain way, one magnet will push the other magnet away and will never be able to come together all the time they are facing that way. And so how that relates to this connection is when you both meet, you are in your wounded aspects, and so your energy won't be balanced. And because this is an energetic connection, your energy needs to be balanced within. And so this means you need to heal and balance your energy first. All the time you are both unhealed, like the magnets, you will never be able to come together because you both have to heal and balance your energy within. So when your divine masculine runs and you chase, what is happening is you are just pushing your energy out to them, and this will only keep them running because energetically your energy isn't balanced and stable. So this is why you need to bring back your energy and focus and attention onto you, because firstly, by doing this energetically, you will not be pushing your energy out to them. And secondly, because you are not focused on them, but instead focused on you, it means you will be putting yourself first and getting on with your life and not spending all that energy and time on them. This is essential, as this is what separation is for the divine feminine to start to get to work on yourself, digging down deep into the core of your being, for you to completely heal so you can grow and evolve and move forward, aligning with your soul so you can ascend to union. Because chasing your divine masculine is what will keep you stuck in that pain, getting nowhere fast. And it will keep you from even beginning to move forward. Because this connection, despite how you may be feeling, doesn't work in the same way a normal romantic relationship works, because it's not a relationship, not in that linear 3D sense. It just feels like that. And so it's not going to unfold like that. This is a journey of two polarities or aspects of the same soul, going through the process of healing, ascending, and coming back home to oneness and unconditional love. All the time you are chasing and pushing your energy out to your divine masculine, you will stay stuck. But by bringing your energy and focus back to you, you will begin to be able to move forward on this ascension journey. So, as well as highlighting the ways in which you can be chasing, I feel it's important to highlight how you will be feeling when you are in that chasing energy, because it's important to be able to recognize the emotions that you will be experiencing. So what you will feel when you are in that chasing energy is that unbearable pain and longing, yearning, pining, waiting, missing them and wanting to be with them. believing you need them in your life, that your happiness is dependent on them being in your life. However, you can also feel angry, frustrated, and betrayed, and any of those fear-based emotions. This is because you are coming from a place of lack and fear, believing that they are the ones that will fill that void within you. And it's this chasing energy that leads you to want to chase them physically by trying to contact them or trying to reach out to them, but also on an energetic level, because even if they have blocked you and you try and message them to see if it goes through, and you are in that chasing energy, remember, they will still feel that energetically because you are connected. Another way is by constantly checking to see if they have contacted you, waiting for them to contact you, and also waiting for them to come back and show up for you. I have recently put a video out about waiting for your divine masculine and how that can hinder your progress. So check that out if you haven't seen it and that interests you. I will leave the link in the description below. Another way is always checking their social media to see what they are doing, being concerned with what is going on in their lives in any way, shape or form. Looking at photos of them, rereading messages from them, playing out scenarios of how and when they will come back and you will be able to be together. And obsessively thinking about them in general. Now, this can feel like even when you get to a point when you are tired of them constantly being in your thoughts, or you feel scared that by thinking of them, it will cause them to just keep running. So you want to stop thinking about them, but it will feel like you just can't seem to stop. Understand that it's natural to think about them because you are not going to be able to not think about them at all because you are energetically connected. But instead, know and remember it's all about the energy behind the thinking. So if you have made progress on the journey, you have connected with your soul and are healing, and you are not heavily in that chasing energy or in that chasing energy at all, it is okay to think about them, because when you think about them, it will be a calmer, more balanced energy. So if it's not going to cause you to feel any pain or anguish in any way, and you can think about them without it easily causing you to drop back into that chasing fear-based energy, then thinking about them is quite natural. However, if you are in that obsessive chasing energy with feeling any of those fear-based emotions when you think about them, this is when you need to bring your focus back to you. So instead of forcing yourself not to think of them, because that will only mean you are focused on them more, by putting effort into trying not to think of them, where is your attention and focus? It's on them. So let the thought come in without resistance and acknowledge the thought by reassuring yourself that it's natural. Then let it go out by choosing instead to think about you. Don't let yourself get lost in thinking about them. Bring your focus and energy back to you and your life. Don't feel guilty or wrong or bad for thinking about them, maybe getting angry or upset or frustrated, as it's natural to think about them, but instead choose to think about you, because you don't want to be in a resistance energy, because it just fuels fear-based emotions. Making yourself feel bad for thinking of them will just keep you in that lower energy, that lower vibrational energy, which will keep you looping in pain. You want to get out of all that by allowing yourself to choose not to be focused on them and instead to choose to focus on you. It's a more natural way, and it's being in flow more, which will leave you feeling calmer. Remember, this is a process. It is something you have to work at. But gradually you will find you are able to turn your attention and focus onto you more easily. And after a while, you will notice that you are not thinking about them so frequently and your thoughts are calmer. So another way of chasing is focusing on physical union. I have talked about this in a couple of other videos I've made. and how this can hinder you making any progress and coming into union. So I wanted to mention this one because I feel it's a sneakier one. It's not so obvious, because even though you may be getting on with working on yourself, if you are doing this primarily to come into physical union, this is your aim, then by your focus, then your focus and attention and thoughts are on them and physical union. Meaning, if you are doing this, you are basically still focused on them and being with them, and not on you and your growth. You're doing it purely because you want to reach physical union. And although it can be natural at first to continue this, you will completely miss the point of the journey and stay stuck. So at any time when you focus is on them and you are in that chasing energy, or if you're feeling a bit wobbly and you believe it could cause you to drop back into that chasing energy, then bring your energy and focus back onto you. Like with all of these that I've mentioned, it's the energy behind the action and thinking. The first few steps you make on this journey to union is about beginning to break free of the chasing energy, to recognize that you have a choice by choosing to bring all your attention, focus, and energy back to you, freeing yourself up to be able to make those steps and progress towards union. Anyway, I think I'll finish up there for today. But if you are struggling and confused, finding it hard to understand what is going on, and would like some guidance and insight on your journey, or if you are anywhere on the journey but would like some help with any aspect, on my website I have the services I offer, including a free discovery call for anyone wanting to see if one-to-one coaching is for them, and also basically to have a free session with me. So if you are interested, please check out my website. The link is in the description below. Anyway, many thanks for watching. As always, sending you much love, and blessed be.